Welcome to Poison Pants Plays the New York Times crossword puzzle. This is for Friday, December 10th, 2021, and let's go ahead and get started. Friday's usually my longest day. It's for some reason always longer than Saturday, which is supposedly a longer puzzle, or a harder puzzle. So Friday's usually my hard one. We're going to just get started by popping in whatever things I can get clearly here in the Northwest, and then see what crosses come to be. Okay, if crossword puzzles are to be thought to have any saving graces, it's that there are these short article and preposition forms that just show up all the time. So 16 down was a fairly clear clue for the stock phrase ATIT. ATIT, A-T-I-T. When you are doing 9 stacks like this constructor's done here, you sometimes just end up with these kind of stock combinations of really common letters like ATIT, and that gives us some idea of what's coming next. I really want set for this one across clue. The clue is about a bed sheet set, and I want set to be in there somewhere, but I'm not seeing it. So let's jump into the Northeast. So the Northeast is going to have some challenges, I can already tell. 13 down feels like it should be occupy, but 10 across's clue is cheek related. That's going to be a medical term or some crosswordese that I don't know. So that's unfortunate. 18 across blank boogie. I want it to be oogie boogie, which kills occupy. So there's going to be some problematic things up there. I really don't like that 10 across clue. I think that's going to end up being crosswordese. I'm jumping to the west here and getting some nice clues. I get let's blank is a harder one, but I got prize at 22 across. 23 down is gonna probably be so bench warmer, so rear, and that gives us a 7 at 32 across, which is pronoun, and 33 down non-governmental organization, NGO. Another bit of crossword wordplay that comes in a lot. That lets me cut into the center here with generals at 38 across, which feels pretty comfortable. Big brass, some wordplay, but very mild wordplay, not too bad. And now I think I can take out a fair bit of the center. Let's see where we go from here. I like that Monterey is there as the setting for Steinbeck novels, but I really want 27 down to then be fount or fountains, and that doesn't seem to fit because there's the wrong number of letters after the O-U-N. So I'm not sure what kind of fountains that's going to be, or fonts really is what I'm going for, founts. But that's not going to work, so let's move on maybe straight north here. Well, that's a pretty poor showing in the Southwest there. Really nothing is dropping with easy crosses, but I am going to move to the Southeast and see if I can get any of these 10 stacks to drop. Sorry, 9 stacks, so 58 across. Oh, that's going to be went rogue. Okay, so that's a nice, good, solid foothold. Let's see if I can get anything else down here, and maybe I can build up from the south rather than building down from the north. Doing some of these 3 crosses, C at 56 down, supercoiling, I assume that's DNA, maybe RNA. So supercoiling is a protein thing, right? Proteins coil up in certain ways and that makes them work. And then this 4 and 5 and then 6 ascending crosses don't really work very well. Oh, torpor, okay, so I can get torpor. So torpor got me to pools, which got me to Earl, which got me the set of 3s and 4s over there on the east side, which let me pull down one of the other longs. I don't like Chi Omega. It's got to be Chi Omega because for Greek letters, those are the only ones that are going to fit with those crosses. But it seems like quite a bit of trivia to know the name of the largest college sorority by enrollment. I guess I should have known that, but... and now I do. Chi Omega. Our 9 down clue here is got therapy at the end of it. I can tell some kind of therapy is what 40 million adults do. I don't know what kind of therapy, but we'll figure that out from crosses. Let's see what other, now that I've got a little bit of a skeleton in, let's just bounce around and see if I can build out some of these skeletal bits and maybe even see some spots where some of the clues don't make sense, or some of my answer letters don't make sense, and I can just knock them out. Good example of knocking them some of them out. WENTROGUE is not going to work with Rapinoe, who was Megan Rapinoe, who is the World Cup winner. So I'm going to have to rethink that answer at 58 across. Rogue really does fit pretty well with those crosses at the end of the word. So some other version of rogue, and we will come back to it with other crosses. Some nice crosses here. 42 and 43 down. Ho, 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 and Oliver are fairly clearly those answers. I should have looked at those first because those would have crosses. And that gets me some new ideas about my crosses in the Southwest. The VP is not good, so let's change that to VE, and that gets me Reed and Roved and Lords and Sacral. Why did I think Sacric? And something very odd for 48 across, and we'll leave that one blank, but I think we're close on the Southwest there. And from crosses we find that this is definitely not WENTROGUE, but in fact it is still Rogue. It is GONEROGUE there at 58 across, and that way I get to keep my NA, whether that's going to be DNA or RNA. The Japanese food still is not popping for me. A K would make some sense there. I guess an H, like sushi, is a common enough Japanese ending for food. I live on the West Coast. I eat a lot of Japanese food, including raw fish, and I do not know this one, but then again, I don't read the menus very closely, I guess. Interesting. Revisiting the north, I'm going to get a couple big crosses up here. Lean right for 17 across, and then that gets me drag into and ionize, I suppose. That's ions and diodes and anodes, and those are certain scientific terms that you will see a lot. And I think that can probably give me the 15 across as well on route 2. And that just leaves me with this one across the sheet set, Edina, like the city in Minnesota. I don't know how Edina set is going to work. 7 down makes sense for beg. So I'm still, BEDINABAG. BEDINABAG. Ugh, of course. I don't know that I've heard that term very often, but it certainly makes sense. It's really not so good that I should have needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 crosses, 6 crosses really, and then 2 9s right below it to finish out BEDINABAG. That should not have been that high. That should not have been that high a cost to get BEDINABAG, but I think I should be able to fill in the rest here. My northeast looks terrible. I put in that 6 occupy on instinct, and I'm thinking it probably is wrong. If you've had a long uncrossed clue answer and nothing else is working with it, then delete it, because it means you probably are getting it wrong. I don't like that 27 across starts with bush up B, because I can't think of any phrases or animals or anything that would be bush up B, so that doesn't seem right. Eolithic certainly makes sense. Eo is a prefix which means true, I believe. So it's the true Stone Age, like the Eocene is the true current era. So you'll see Eo occasionally as a prefix in scientific eras and whatnot. I'm okay with that. It's a little obscure, but from that prefix I should know it. 27, pounces, and that's going to then be push-up-bras. That 27 down clue, which is springs, is nicely deceptive. Springs, of course, could be bounces, as in you're springing around, but springs also works for pounces, as in what a tiger does. It springs at its victim and pounces on it. So it has a 7-letter word with 6 of the letters identical and only 2 possible answers in the cross. So a nice little bit of subterfuge there by the constructor. That's exactly the kind of thing I'm looking for when I'm doing a puzzle. Let's see if I can now finish out the northeast, set apart, and 14 downs. The 14 downs pattern does not look good. L blank OCTS is not typical English. So I'm going to jump down and see if I can fill in the south here before I get too stuck. Just jumping around, and I'm not seeing anything. This 12 down answer, I think, might be Lothar, Mandrake the Magician's sidekick. That is deep cut crosswordese trivia. I don't like it when they do deep cut crosswordese trivia, but if I put Lothar in there, I get mostly realistic things everywhere else. Oh, except 18 across is not going to be got to as two separate words. It's going to be gotta as the slang for it, and that gives me jerks, and 14 down as reacts. So now I've got just to finish up the south. I am slogging through just trying stuff here. I don't know this drummer from Rush. The 60 across clue is not coming into my head. Same old, same old. I'm not even... It feels fine. I don't think that needs to change. Trying out some different possible last names and just hoping that it all clicks when I move around here. Heart rate, and then that's going to be 53 across will be in diapers, and that should finish me off with DNA and diapers, and there it is. So that's a little behind my average by 2.5 minutes. That doesn't feel so great. But let's take a look at our grid. It looks not so bad. Let's see if anything really stands out to me as an issue. Oh, Lothar. Yeah, Lothar and Eolithic, especially crossing like that. You really could infer lithic. You really could infer the THAR even perhaps. And 10 across then mailer. I think that probably the biggest problem solvers are going to have is up there in the northeast. You have to come from, you know, knowing that MAL also comes from jaw, and then end it with an AR because you get reacts. And Tifa helps because that's pretty much the only thing you can put there, and Magi. So that northeast corner, not wonderful. But other than that, I think all of the cluing and answers are pretty good and not too bad. I was disappointed with my time for a Friday, but sometimes it just happens that way. All right, thanks so much for your attention, and I will see you on the big long Saturday tomorrow. Bye.